And then that's when we found out of her stepson, who was making a book. And that's this book right here, same name as the film, A Better Life, where Chris traveled the country interviewing atheists, taking photos, and filming the interviews. That he made this beautiful book, which I'll have it up here. I'll have it if anyone wants to look at it. And then he decided to make the film out of the interview footage. So I then met Chris last March at the Texas Secular Convention, where he gave a talk about the experience, about the film, and he showed the trailer. And I remember that there were people in the audience in tears, just in the trailer itself. And so that was when I realized, yeah, we've got to bring him to Houston to do a screening of the full film. So, so Chris Johnson, he is a filmmaker and photographer based in New York City. And I'll go ahead and just introduce him and let him take it from there. So yeah, please introduce our guest speaker and director, Chris.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming out on this hot day here in Houston. I actually was born in Houston, so it's nice to come home to the place where I was born so many years ago. And also, I will say, I don't know if Vic mentioned it, but this is the North American premiere of this film. I'm traveling around. We did a screening in London, we did a screening in Dublin, we did a screening down in Lima in Peru. Now we're here in the United States to do the first screening here. This has been almost 3 years of my life with this project, with the book, with the film, and it's really great to be able to share it with everybody here. And it's just such a joy. Hopefully the film will speak with you. I'm going to make this, pretty short at the front because, you're here to see the film. But we'll do a Q&A after. So if you have any questions about the movie or anything at all, we'll have a conversation about it. If you want to share your opinion or anything like that, I think it'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm so thrilled to be here and I'm here to see it with you. The film is 92 minutes long, so it's an hour and 32 minutes, roughly. I think Vic explained where the restrooms are.
Oh, no, I forgot to mention that.
Okay,
yeah,
yes.
So the restroom's actually on outside. I think this door's open. You can go out, or you can go back out and go around this way. And then there's a separate building for the men's restroom, and I think the women's restroom is connected to this building, but they're right over here.
Awesome. Okay. Again, it's just 3 years of my life I spent working on the book. The book is available on my website at theatheistbook.com. I don't have any books here, but if you order and use the discount code HOH, Humanists of Houston, you get 20% off your order. So check that out. And Vic has his copy here as well, so you can take a look at it if you want to see what the book is like. Let's see, what else? I don't know. I think that's about it. I just want you to see the film and hope you enjoy it, and we'll have a chat after. Sound good?
That's good. Yeah, thank you again to Chris for the wonderful film, and so we are ready to go ahead and start the Q&A. So yeah, here's Chris Johnson again for the Q&A. I'll edit that out.
Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns, confessions, anything? In the back. Yes.
I'm new to this whole humanist thing, and I feel like, oh my God, this is speaking to me. This is great. But one thing I noticed is all the interviewees were very intelligent. And there's even a few words that I didn't even understand. Do you find that most atheists are like more intelligent, or did you have trouble finding blue collar folks to interview?
That is a good question. They're all pointy.
That's a good question. I think, as a film, you want things to be as articulate as possible, but also accessible. So there's kind of that balance, I think. That's one of the reasons I love Alex Honnold so much. The rock climber. That's all I have to say. Is that he's brilliant, right? But he explains things in a very kind of down-to-earth kind of way. And I think it walks that line, I think. So, but it's not hard to find people in the atheist, humanist world that are very articulate and like A.C. Grayling, who's just brilliant. So it's not hard. No. Yeah.
So how did you decide which people from the book you would show in the movie?
Just people I like. No, kidding. Looking for who says things that are interesting, has a unique perspective. I wanted to have a diverse group of people. It was hard though. I had 70 hours of footage, of just interview footage to go through and find what are the best bits that work and for this bit, for that bit. But it's hard, so it's just a lot of going through everybody and seeing who fits, basically. Yeah.
So not everybody made the movie?
No, there are 100 people in the book, and only... By the way, how many people do you think are in the film? Any ideas?
20? 30?
17.
17.
17. Just curious what people think versus what it actually is. Yeah. It would be a very long film if all 100 people were in there. So that's next week. Yeah.
Do you think if you got together all of the atheists from 50 states and you had a 2-week convention, now people would sort of sidle up to one group, and sidle up to another, where they found a basic rapport?
Yeah.
And would that then become atheist 1, atheist 2, atheist 3, like,
Right.
like religions, which all of these branches?
Yeah, I think you see that even now. We don't need a 2-week convention to splinter off into different groups and fight each other and all that. We do that naturally. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I think tribalism is something that's not strictly a religious thing. You see it with sports teams. You see it with political parties. You see it with everything. Race, socioeconomic class, things like that. So I think you see that all over the place. I don't think it's strictly religion. Religion is a large part of it. It does do that, but so do many other things as well. So it's not like I think that if everybody in the world all of a sudden became an atheist, that the world would be a utopia. I think it would be. It has the potential to be better, but I don't think it's a cure-all, because I think cure-alls cure nothing.
One more thing. Recently on Facebook, I saw a man named Fry.
Uh-huh.
I have no idea who he is, but he said, how could you believe in a God who was like psychotic and a maniac,
Right.
who would allow such horror?
Yeah, Stephen Fry, I believe, is the one who said that.
Yes.
Yeah. I often wonder, if people believe in God, what do they think the world would look like without the God they believe in? Would they think that the world looks, would they think that, all of a sudden things would happen for no reason and good things would happen to bad people and bad things would happen to good people? Well, that's the world we live in, so I don't know how that's, I don't see any traces of God, and I think Stephen Fry makes a good point, where he talks about if there is somebody controlling how things happen in the world, they're not doing a very good job, are they? So we're kind of on our own. Yeah.
It seems like that this discussion of their lack of theistic beliefs and so
Right.
forth, it's something that I've virtually never discussed in any HOH or Oasis or agnostic or atheist meeting I've ever been in. It only seems to happen when somebody puts a camera at you,
Right.
or a microphone or something,
I get it a lot, actually. I don't know whether it's just that I welcome it, but people come up to me all the time, and not on the street, but just in events like this, and say, this is how I used to be. I used to be religious, and now I'm not, and this is what happened, and these are the books that I read, or things like that. I think in some circles people don't talk about it as much. I think in some
We had
cases
some
they
interesting
do.
discussions, I've had some very interesting discussions about this, that, or the other, but
Right.
never, except when somebody's doing an interview or asking, deliberately into that. I go to the lunch over at cafe, a little cafe off the freeway, and we sit around and talk about all kinds of things, but nobody ever says, why did you not believe, or when did you first not believe, or,
Yeah.
just doesn't come up in conversation.
I think
Until
part of that
someone
is-
points a microphone or a camera at you.
Yeah, I think part of that is also that once you've gotten to something like Oasis or something like this group, you've already found something in your life that kind of fills that same role that the community would serve if you went to church. I think it's primarily for people who are in the process of losing their religion, who still go to church or still want that but haven't found that yet. I think they probably talk about that more because it's more on their mind. I think once you've gotten to somewhere else, you don't really talk about it because it's not really relevant anymore to you because you don't believe and you're around other people who don't believe as well. So probably fills that same role. Yeah, in the back.
How did you raise the money to make the film? That's always the hard part about something.
It is. I did a Kickstarter. Anybody give any money on Kickstarter?
Yeah.
Kickstarter? Anybody not know what Kickstarter is? Okay, Kickstarter is a platform for artists or entrepreneurs, anybody to say, oh, I want to do this thing. Will you give me money to do this thing? And it's like a PBS pledge break. So you have different reward levels. So you can pledge $50 and get a tote bag or a copy of the film when it's done, that kind of thing. So I raised money to do the book first with that, and then I raised afterwards money to put the film together from everything I'd already done.
What amazing.
Yeah, and that.
Where did you find that field of yellow flowers?
That's a funny story, actually. I was 2 months ago. I was in England, and I was seeing my family. My mother was there, and Margaret, and we were driving. This is in southwest, southeast, southwest.
Southwest. Devon.
Devon,
Yeah.
near Devon. Driving from the train to the house, and I'd never been in that area before, and I saw these flowers, these fields of rapeseed fields, and I thought, that's amazing! It's so cinematic and gorgeous. So we filmed that there. It's really cool. Yeah. So yeah.
The small amount of words that you spoke,
Right.
I thought were very moving and appropriate and blended the interviews very well. Did those words come first or after the interviews? The words you wrote that you chose?
That came after. Yeah.
I thought they were very
Thank you.
lovely words.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
You started off the movie going off when sort of looking at what sort of mass media and I guess what the other stuff actually does in terms of leaders. What sort of reactions have you had from people who actually do believe or people who aren't atheists or are talking about things that has there been any reaction?
Well, it's,
Chris, would you mind repeating the question?
Oh, yeah. So he's asking what the reaction was to, what the reaction was to the opening part, the montage of everybody saying horrible things.
Just the reaction from people who do believe. Has there been a reaction from them? What's the reaction for people who aren't atheists or who actually haven't lived a life like that? Has there been any sort of talk from those people or reaction from those?
It makes people think. It's made. I haven't anybody. No one's been converted because of the film, nor do I expect anyone to be. But I think it does make people think. There was when I was in Peru, there was a evangelist in the audience who wasn't confrontational about it and just said, thank you very much for showing the film, and left. I think part of it is because I'm not attacking, and I'm not saying, you're silly, you're a bunch of idiots. I think it's because it's a positive message, they don't get as defensive about it. What's interesting, though, I find the reaction from non-believers varies depending on what country they're in. So in the UK, for example, because in the UK, people don't really care as much about whether you're an atheist or not, the most interesting part for that audience was actually that opening montage. They thought, oh, these people think these horrible things about atheists? I never knew that. Whereas the rest of the film, they thought, oh, we know that already. And it's interesting because in other places, in Ireland and Peru, it's the opposite because they know that. They know the first part very well. That's why it's very short. It's the other part that's new for them. So, yeah.
2 quick questions. First, where'd you find that clip of Steve Harvey saying those things? Because I never knew him to be that kind of a...
That clip is from the Tyra Banks show.
Okay. And about how much of the footage of the final film was shot in the U.S., just out of curiosity?
Oh, that's a good question. How much of the final film footage was shot in the U.S.? The White Sand stuff obviously is all U.S. The stuff at the beginning is all in the U.S. Yeah, I think that's about it. So I don't know what percentage that is, but it's a fair amount.
All right.
Any other questions or comments? Yeah, sir.
Okay, so about the support people have or whether they need support to be an atheist, it seems like they fall into maybe some of them are loners, they need the climber,
Right.
Some of them are academics, and there's kind of a academic community maybe doesn't care so much about God so much as the world of the mind. And then maybe there are other people who are like working class or just I don't know if it's a class thing, but that maybe need more support outside. I mean, I've heard Dawkins say people who are religious are stupid, but I think when he says that, he's not paying attention to the need for community.
Right.
And the people you interview, do you think most of them fall into, what sort of categories do they fall into in terms of how they find support for being an atheist and whether they need it?
I think that's a good point. I think that people, whether, some atheists want support, need that support, others don't. You're right, they fall into different categories. I think that, people find it in different ways. In terms of the film, some are more fine on their own, some get it through their work or people they hang out with, friends, that kind of thing. In many cases, I don't think it's like a formalized, structured thing. This is going to be my community. It just kind of, they find it naturally. It's kind of something that happens for them. But sometimes some other people do kind of need it structured a bit more and go to events, go to, whether it's something like a Sunday assembly type thing, an Oasis kind of thing, a humanist group. So I think it kind of varies depending on the person. So some are okay by themselves, some find it kind of just naturally within the social groups they are a part of, and others kind of seek it out. So I think it's kind of one of those three. There's another question? Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. With a movie like this, obviously it has a very positive message, but I'm sure there are people who would still disagree despite what we've seen. Right. So I guess my question is, have you gotten any serious, threats, or maybe, you're buried in hell or something like that?
No, I haven't gotten that much. I got, somebody sent me a great YouTube comment once, which was, please die in a car crash or other accident, which I like because they said please. And I also like that they gave me a choice, so they're okay with me dying in a car crash or some other accident. So it's very nice. But no, actually, you don't. I haven't gotten a lot of threats or anything like that. I think you're right because it's a positive thing. Somebody like Dawkins probably gets a lot more than I do. But no, I don't. It would probably sell the film a lot better if it was a lot more controversial. But no, I don't get a lot.
Chris.
Yes.
So the editing process must have been obviously very difficult to cull down just the vast amount of footage down to what it was in the film. Was there anything in particular that was just especially difficult to cut? Any particular portions that did not make it that you felt were?
There's a lot of really good material that just wasn't able to make it into the final version. I mean, someday when I have time, I'll have to go through and find, put everything together and make a little, special edition or something. But there is a lot of really good stuff, and part of it is just it doesn't fit in well. Even though it's good, it doesn't really fit with anything or a particular spot. It's just there is some good stuff, but it's hard. It's hard to know when it's done. When is it finally done? My family can tell you all about that. It's great, but it's a lot of work.
Well, some of it is on your YouTube.
Yeah, there are clips. Clips of everybody, all 100 people from the book, are on my YouTube channel, so you can see, clips of everybody in one form or another. But there's a lot of footage that, hopefully someday I can put around and people can see it. But, yeah, in the back.
What methods of distribution? Netflix or selling online? Or
Right now it's being sold online. It's on my website, theatheistbook.com. It's available as streaming or as a download. DVDs are going to be available in July.
Oh, remind me again about the book. Where is that for sale?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. The book is for sale on my
sold
website.
A lot?
I hope to, yeah. The book is on my website, theatheistbook.com. Again, HOH, 20% off. It's also available on Amazon. People want to get it there as well. Yes.
One more question for me. Who makes the happiest atheist? A person who has been indoctrinated totally into Christianity or Judaism, or a person who has grown up without any structure in the religious area?
I don't know that those are necessarily factors. I mean, I know some people who are very happy now who used to be very religious, and I know people who are very happy who never were religious. I think it just depends on the person. Depends on the makeup of the person, and I don't know if there's necessarily a correlation between those two things or not. Yeah.
So what's next?
I love that question. I was waiting. I was going to ask you that. I don't know. I mean, right now I'm traveling, showing the film, at least until September.
So where do you go next?
I'm going to Corpus Christi, San Antonio, Austin, Seattle. Film's going to China at the end of July. Going to Shanghai, doing a screening there, and then coming back, Boston, all over. Where is it? Virginia, Michigan, all kinds of different places. So hopefully more. We'll schedule some more. But it's for the foreseeable future. It's just me traveling around showing the film.
Are the tour dates on the website?
Yes, tour dates on the website. So if you're somewhere else where the film's showing, you can see it again. Or you can see it online. Yeah.
So you mentioned while if a religion were no longer to be much of a factor in our society, that it would not necessarily be a cure-all, but you did feel it would be a better society. What are some of the ways that you would envision such a society as being better or different?
I'm always amazed at how much people care about things that don't affect them because of religious reasons. I was in Ireland for the premiere of this film right before the gay marriage vote. And the level of passion that people have against it just amazes me. I mean, it amazes me that, two people getting married that I don't know are getting married. Okay, and it's like there are straight people getting married who you probably wouldn't want to get married either. No. So why are people, spending so much money, so much, millions of dollars on stopping, consensual adults from doing things. I don't understand it. So I think that would change. I mean, would it? Right, it wouldn't change everything. It wouldn't make us. I know plenty of atheists who are not rational, or not, who are. Yeah, it doesn't cure everything, but I think it does cure a lot of things. You wouldn't have such emphasis on, control of women's rights, control of LGBT issues, things like that. I think it would solve a lot. So. Other questions? Comments?
So when you show in Peru, do they understand English, all the people they're watching?
Some did. We had Spanish subtitles for the Peru screening.
So you're going to have Chinese subtitle in Shanghai?
Yeah, we're making
Okay.
I just sent the file in today, actually, for the Chinese subtitles for the China trip. And actually, funny story about Peru is I was thinking about AC Grayling. I was on a bus going from Ollantaytambo to Cusco, which is really high up in the mountains. It's like 12,000 feet up. And it was at night, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I was on this bus in the middle of nowhere. And it was my first time in the Southern Hemisphere. And I looked out the window, and I thought of AC Grayling, because I saw that blanket of stars that he talks about in the Southern Hemisphere. And it was just so stunning and bright and amazing and gorgeous, and I thought, oh, these are the moments. Nobody really asked this question, but I get it a lot, which is, how has this film affected how you see the world? And that's actually how it has done it. I really spend I spend more time realizing moments that I'm in, being more aware of, oh, this is a really great moment right now. I'm having that moment right now. You have these moments where you think, okay, this is something I really want to savor and focus, because you spend so much time kind of, what's next? What's going on next? Where am I going? What's happening? Instead of just being present, being in the moment and thinking, this moment is amazing. I want to focus on this and relish this and kind of breathe that in. Not in kind of a wooey kind of metaphysical kind of weird way, but in a very grounded, this is my experience, this is my consciousness right now, this is what I'm doing, and this is amazing, whatever it is, right? So that's how it's affected me in that way. So I try to be a little bit more mindful about that. Yeah?
I had a comment. I was wondering, from what you said, that everything is kind of amazing to be an atheist. I mean, I'm an atheist too. I'm a scientist, I'm educated. But I don't believe my life is better than anyone else, in the sense that I'm just a normal person that live in the world and try to make the world better. And I think the positiveness is something that put us on the step, saying, oh, our life, that's the title of the movie, is like a better life. I don't believe my life is better, it's just, for me, normal. So how can someone that has a life different than me would consider myself as a better person if I also have, my life is not always wonderful and and I think that's missing a bit in the movie, to show that people also have struggles, rather than just having amazing, consciousness moment. I don't always think of consciousness when I look at the stars or the work that I'm doing, and it's just to relate, people which have a religion and people that don't have a religion, instead of trying to separate them and say, hey, look, we have this different life with a different perspective of it. And I was just wondering if that would help actually people which are so angry towards atheists, that to make them realize that we're not different, we have also the same issues.
Right. Well, that's, part of what I wanted to do in the film was show that we're not necessarily different in that way. We have that same desire for community and that same desire for enjoying these amazing moments in life as religious people do. And I try not to make it saccharine sweet, that life is always amazing, because it's not. It's one of the things I talked about in the section in Scotland, about how life is really difficult sometimes. And that's why we create these spaces, in order to make sense of the world when life can be very hard and difficult. So I don't think that things are always better, but I do feel kind of what I mentioned before about would the world be a better place if everyone was an atheist? No. I mean, it wouldn't be. I think it would be better, but it wouldn't be perfect. You're still going to have moments of pain and struggle, and people still die, whether you believe in God or not. But I do feel that there are ways of looking at the world which are better than others, right? And I think that having that sense of this is the only life you have does change how you see things a bit. It doesn't make it perfect, but I think it does make it better. Hence the name of the film. Yeah.
I had a comment and then a question. The comment was I was thinking as the lady was playing with her dogs that we've, as a species, have had a longer relationship with dogs than we've had with gods, which I thought was just kind of striking and amusing to me.
What's dog backwards, right?
Right, exactly. And then the question was, what question do you wish we had asked that we haven't yet?
Do I wish you'd have asked?
He just said.
I don't know. That's a good one. I mean,
because you mentioned a couple like, oh, I wish someone had asked that. So what's one that's on the list we haven't hit yet?
What was that?
What would you like to tell us?
What I'd like to tell you? Oh, that's a long list. What I like to, I don't know. I mean, there are questions that always come up, like what are you doing next, and things like that. But I can't think of anything that I really want you. I mean, I tried to say everything in the movie. I don't know, like if there's anything else I can think of to say. I guess a question to you would be, has it changed the way? I'm assuming most people here identify as humanists, or maybe you identify as atheists as well. Did it change any of the way you see the world or your life or anything like that? Are you coming away learning anything you didn't already know before? I'll put it that way. So if anyone wants to answer that, awesome. Or you can come up to me afterwards if you don't want to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, the idea, I had not heard this before, but the idea of existing religions evolving in a certain way that would be more accommodating to an atheist mindset. And I thought that was fascinating.
It's almost like if you look at how sports teams in many ways have replaced war, not all war obviously, but a lot of the conflict that different countries had towards one another has now shifted to things like soccer. And it's a bit different, I mean, if you look at it, but it's the same kind of thing. So maybe, maybe religion will evolve into a similar kind of sports kind of thing, rather than something that people take really, really, really seriously, although they take soccer very seriously too. But,
maybe we'll sit by that tree like an avatar and just connect. And,
there you go.
Bring it back.
I haven't thought about that movie in a long time. Yeah.
The lady Patricia with the dogs. I've always wondered a lot about pre-written word, and I believe she's a neurologist.
She's a neurophilosopher.
Neurophilosopher, which is interesting. I've never heard of that. The way she talked about the vast span of human history, we didn't have gods. And I think I always thought that it must have been a shaman or someone around the fire that was telling them, whatever they were speaking the language, that he knew it in his head, that he was speaking the truth. But apparently what she's saying is that there was a long time where there were no gods. And so that was something that I hadn't really thought of before. And I'd like to do more research on, so that I learned that from your film, and we'll look into that more.
Thank you. In the back.
On a lighter note, I do want to thank you for having dogs in the movie and not cats.
This always comes up, yeah. We had this discussion at dinner last night, actually. We did. Exactly that conversation. Yes, dogs. Who likes dogs here? Who likes cats? Who likes both? Okay, both? Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, and question over here somewhere?
It's out of context now.
Okay. It's probably about the joke. Okay, yes?
Was there any specific spark that made you want to do this film over anything else? I'm sure it's cumulative, but any one thing that sticks out?
You mean the film itself or the whole project?
The whole project.
Well, I was on that road trip with my brother in White Sands in New Mexico. Has anybody been to White Sands before? White Sands? Yes. If you haven't gone, you should go. It's amazing. And listening to a lot of podcasts about religion. I minored in religion in college, so I'd always been interested in it. I never was religious, but and I was taking all these photos when we were White Sands, and my brother said to me, you really should do a photography book. And I said, well, nobody knows who I am. Nobody cares. Like, why would anybody? There's so many out there. And he said, well, you just have to find a way of making it different. Something new, right? And then kind of all these ideas kind of came into one. And, the religion thing and the beautiful scenery, and it all kind of clicked and formed into one big thing. And then I actually ended my trip in Austin, and I had dinner with the folks from the Atheist Experience TV show there. And I said, has anybody ever done anything like this? And they said, no, never heard of it. So then I started the whole process of fundraising and doing all that and putting it together, and then 3 years later, here I am.
Oh, that's awesome.
It started. Yes, somewhere in the back. Yes.
So it's more of a suggestion and a question. It's kind of scary, but
okay.
Have you ever thought of making screening in the Middle East for this movie?
Can you repeat?
Oh, he asked if I thought of doing a screening in the Middle East.
Oh, wow.
In the film.
I'm Middle Eastern, something to know.
My security detail doesn't think I should. But it depends on the country, I guess. I mean, it depends on where and what the level of safety. I'm not going to say yes, my mother's here. I mean,
as a follow-up, a suggestion, I've seen a lot of movies that are close to this in Jordan, which is has not been affected at all with this whole, ISIS thing or extremism. So there is something called the Royal Jordanian Movie. I mean, you have to apply your movie and you have to get approval from people that sometimes make random decisions, but I've seen a lot of Portuguese movies, Argentinian movies, and many intellectuals come to these movies, and it's a big convention. People come from everywhere, and it's really nice. And I think it's worth just mentioning to you for the future in case you're interested.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely look that up, and I'll go anywhere. I mean, not anywhere, but I'll go, many different places with this. I mean, the more people this can reach around the world, the better. The book has gone all over the world. I know it's gone to Sudan, smuggled in. I know it's gone to Saudi Arabia. The book has gone to everywhere else you can imagine. Japan, Argentina, Peru. It's gone everywhere. So hopefully the film as well will go different places.
Well, I've heard Morocco is also kind of comparable to Jordan as well. That could be a potential realistic.
Cool. I'll put that on the list. Hopefully somebody there will be interested. So. Any other questions or comments or anything?
It was a wonderful film.
Thank you.
The camera work and the editing.
All right. Well.
All right.
I think
Well,
that's it.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. So you don't have to leave yet. Actually, Cassandra was very generous to not only give us extra time, but also. At no extra charge, she's going to open up it's already open, but the patio area. There's a nice patio area back here. You can all hang out and socialize for at least a while. And there's still refreshments here that you can partake in. Oh, and of course, Cassandra, thank you to Cassandra as well. I don't see her, but for not only allowing us to have this here, she gave us a discount off of the statement fee, and yeah, she's been really great to work with. Thanks again to everyone.